So today we're going to be analysing Ezra's mock interview. So Ezra's in year 13, currently studying maths, economics and BTEC sport. He's going to be applying for DTS degree apprenticeships at a whole range of companies, in particular Amazon, BT, EY, Goldman Sachs, that sort of stuff. And this is him over here, chilling on the beach. And fun fact, his favourite sport is basketball. A bit like me. Would you have got into Premier League? So yeah, that is the little introduction there for today's interview. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be targeting a Goldman Sachs interview, okay? Because when you're doing these mock interviews, whenever you're doing it just in general, you need to make sure you're thinking about a company. Because in interviews, they're always going to ask you company-specific questions, which require research and thinking about that sort of thing. So you always want to make sure when you're doing a mock interview, when you're doing practice interview questions, you have a company in mind. So today we're going to be targeting Goldman Sachs. I've had a look through their website, and these are just the questions I would be personally preparing for. So I don't know what comes up in Goldman Sachs' interview. I have absolutely no idea. These are just questions that I'm sort of predicting that may come up. These are questions that I would personally be preparing for, because these are the kind that are likely to come up based on my experience with other degree apprenticeship interviews and helping people get into other degree apprenticeships in the engineering, technology and finance industries. Okay, so without any further ado, let me close that tab here. Let me close this one here. Let's get straight into the interview. Yeah, we'll listen to Ezra's answer, and then I'll give feedback on where he can improve, and then also we'll just see where it goes, really. We'll just see where it goes and see how in depth I can get with the analysis here. So let's get into the first question. So Ezra, can you just introduce yourself to me, please?
Okay. My name's Ezra Mercier. I'm currently a year 13 sixth form student. I study economics, maths, and BTEC sport. Some of my hobbies are basketball. I like playing the guitar also, and I'm also really interested in tech. That's why I'm here for this interview.
Okay, let's get straight into it. So that's his answer for this one. Tell me about yourself or introduce yourself. This is a question that probably 75% of interviews they're going to ask as the first question. A lot of the time it's not like an assessed question. A lot of the time they might even say, this isn't assessed, but can you just introduce yourself to me? But either way, you want to have a good answer just because it gives a good first impression. Like psychologically, people remember the start of things, they remember the end of things, like leave a good first impression, that sort of thing. So you want to leave a good first impression and be ready for this answer. Now, as you're going through here, I would guess that Ezra hasn't prepared for this question specifically, introduce yourself or tell me about yourself. Based on sort of in between his sentences, he had to pause and sort of look up. That's when you can tell someone is thinking about something. Because you know when you think about something, you're just like, yeah, and you're like looking up. That's when I can sort of tell he's thinking about it. So you can see he's thinking about it, looking up there, and he seems not sort of on lock with this answer. Okay, so with this answer, you want to have this completely ready. It's like in my YouTube videos where over the past like I don't know 6 months or something, I've had sort of my I don't know what you want to call it, like custom intro, right? Where I always say, my name's Owen. I'm a degree apprentice. I help people get degree apprenticeships in the engineering, technology, and finance industries. Last year, I helped a whole bunch of students get into degree apprenticeships at companies like Amazon, JLR, KPMG, HSBC, Rolls-Royce, just to name a few. Okay, first time when I was doing that intro, I was like struggling with it because I couldn't remember what to say. I had to keep like looking at the screen. But like nowadays, when I do these videos, it's so just easy and natural for me to give that intro. I can just give it straight into the camera. So that's what you want this one to be. You want this sort of tell me about yourself or introduce yourself. It's like your sort of 30-second pitch to leave a good first impression. You want to make sure you have it completely ready, like it's the easiest question there is, just so you can leave that good first impression. So what you want to do is you want to sort of create your custom intro and then practice it a whole bunch of times until it's just easy and it completely rolls off the tongue like that. So for example, what I would include in this custom intro would be, let me just go away from these if I come over here. So my custom intro for basically tell me about yourself or an introduce yourself question, it's usually like, my name's Owen, I'm in year 13, I'm studying maths, physics, whatever, right? Then I would highlight a key work experience, and then I do quick mention, I do like an extracurricular, and then reiterate interest. That's sort of the formula I would go with, so you can copy that sort of formula. So, hello, my name's Owen, I'm in year 13. I'm currently studying maths, physics, and Latin A-levels, and I'm interested in this engineering degree apprenticeship. So one of the key work experience I've done over the past couple of months, I spent 2 weeks on site at this dual carriageway upgrade project where I learned a lot about different types of civil and structural and highways engineering. This was a really valuable experience. In addition to that, I also like to play the trumpet, which is something I do in my spare time as an extracurricular, and I'm really interested in this interview because I'd be interested in going into an engineering degree apprenticeship. Okay, that was a bit rough because that's like the first time I've done that in like 2 years or something, but it's like something along those lines. This doesn't need to be anything long. In fact, you don't want it to be anything long, and some recruiters even tell you not to do it long. It just needs to be 30 seconds, sort of elevator pitch sort of thing, have it structure, and just make sure you have it fully unlocked so you're not sort of in your answer, like thinking about it, you have it completely ready. Now, bonus tip as well for you now. I'm literally with this video, I'm just going to dive straight into it. If you look at where his eyes are looking down here. So on his screen, when he was on this video call, like I would have been big, right? And he would have been small. So his eyes here, I'm guessing, would have been looking at himself. And this is what everyone likes to do when you're on on a call or interview or something. You just look at yourself. So this is a fun fact I learned like probably 12 months ago, right? So you know lifts, right? Say you're in like a building in like Shanghai, or I don't know why I thought Shanghai. That's the most random thing. So say you're in Shanghai, right, and you're trying to get to the top of a 200 floor building. You're going to get in the lift. It's probably going to take you like 2 minutes or something to get up to the 200 floors, right? So there's this story. I've no idea if it's true or not, but essentially the engineers were thinking, okay, so it takes 2 minutes to get up to the top of this lift. How could we make it a better experience? Okay, we could spend like £10 million or like some ridiculous figure making new technology to make it go up in 1 minute. Like it would be millions of pounds of technology to get a lift to double the speed. Or we could just add mirrors. And then if you add mirrors, people are just going to stare at themselves in the lift the whole time and they won't care about how long it takes. Because people just love looking at themselves. So that, again, I don't know if this is a true story, but that's supposedly why lifts all have mirrors in, because you're so distracted looking at yourself and how like beautiful you think you are, you end up forgetting about how long it's in the lift. You want the lift to go slower so you can just stare at yourself. It's like everyone does this, man. I used to do this a lot. It's like when I film these videos, I used to just stare at this circle, man, just because I love looking at myself, right? Like everyone does, right? But you want to just get out of that habit and try and look into the webcam as much as possible. So I know like some things you can do is get a post-it note and put it next to the webcam here and put like an arrow pointing towards the webcam. You can do that if you want, but just get into the practice of, rather than looking at yourself, rather than sort of making eye contact, for example, you don't want to look at the other person's eyes because then it's going to look like slightly weird on the camera. You want to be looking at the camera itself because it's way more engaging. And just psychologically, again, coming down to psychology, it's going to make it a better answer, and they're going to connect with you more when they're making eye contact with you, even if it's just slightly lower down. Just being slightly lower down makes it slightly weird compared to if I'm right here and I'm engaging with you like that. So just get into that habit. It's not something that's going to be easy straight away. So some of my students, they start off and they're just looking at themselves down here, but it's like I keep drilling them into them. Look at the camera, look at the camera, look at the camera, and you can make really good progress on this within like a month. And then after about a month, as long as you've been practicing, you can sort of consistently be looking at the webcam like that. Okay. And some notes. So not at all.
Mhm.
So let's move on to the
It's
sort.
fine.
Let's move on to the first sort of questions now. So why have you decided to do a degree apprenticeship rather than going to university?
Mm. To be honest, I've chosen a degree apprenticeship because I feel like it's more suited for me. Because I feel like with a uni degree option, I feel like I've been in school for quite some time now, and I want to do some practical work. I want to get my hands ready, working already, and doing another 3 or 4 years in uni studying. Although studying technology at uni or computer science would be nice, I feel like I need a bit of practical work because I've been sitting down in lessons for a bit too much time. And also, I feel like a big part of uni is gaining that independence. And through working and doing all the things that I already do, I feel like I've already gained most of that independence. And I am ready to start working as already have had experience of working. And I know that I want to start my career early in the technology sector, basically.
Okay, so the question there was essentially, why would you like to do a degree apprenticeship? So this is what's worked for me with this question. What's worked for me in my interviews is keeping this as positive as possible, because it's really easy to, like, if forget it's an interview for a second. Let's just say we're answering this question: why do you want to do a degree apprenticeship? Then like 99% of people are going to do like, oh, I don't want to get in debt. I want to do a salary, right? And it's like, okay, fair enough. Like that's true, but is it necessarily the first thing you want to highlight in your interview? Similarly, it's like you could also highlight, oh, I don't want to go to university. I don't want to like study. I'm sort of fed up with school. This was actually with me. So it's sort of by the end of year 12, to be honest, at that point I was done with school. I was like, I don't want to do any more like lessons, homework, assignments, just exams, all this. I just don't care anymore. That's one of the main reasons I wanted to do a degree apprenticeship. I just knew like I was not going to university for another 3 years to do lectures and lessons and all this stupid stuff like that. However, did I go and say that in my interviews? Did I go and say, oh no, I'm fed up with school, I don't do lessons anymore, I don't enjoy learning? No, of course I didn't say that, right? So what worked for me was keeping it as positive as possible. And on this one, this answer here to me seemed a bit too focused on you didn't want to study. And you have to be careful about this because, yes, it's university versus degree apprenticeship, but with a degree apprenticeship, you do actually go to university. It's not like with a degree apprenticeship, you're only working. You're still going to university. So you can't tell them that you don't like studying or you don't like coursework or you don't like exams because you're still going to have to do coursework. You're still going to have to study. You're still going to have to do exams. It's not that with a degree apprenticeship, you don't do those at all. It just means rather than 100% of the time, you do that about 20% of the time. So I would say what's worked for me is not going down the route of I don't enjoy school, etc., etc. It's just keep it all positive. Everything you want to say on this has to be positive. Don't go into any negatives of university because any negatives of university are going to apply also in the degree apprenticeship. So it'll just sound a bit weird. That's what's worked for me anyway. Feel free to disagree. So, for example, why do you want to do a degree apprenticeship? I'd be talking about things like, yeah, I prefer learning practically. One I liked was I like to make a difference and work on projects that are going to have an impact on the world, something like that. Another good one is I want to challenge myself. So I know that a degree apprenticeship is going to be a challenge in terms of the workload, in terms of the step up from A levels to degree level. But I want to challenge myself, and this is why I sort of want to do it. I thrive in challenges, something like that. I'd say keep it positive like that. So challenges, you're interested in that. You want to make a difference. You want to work on real life projects. And that's how personally I would do it. Like, I mean, if you want to go into it and say like, oh, I just don't want to get in debt. The only reason I'm doing your degree apprenticeship is because I saw that you guys have a 30K salary. I mean, fair enough. You can say that if you want to, but I would say just personally, I would be avoiding that. Okay. What was the reason for choosing Goldman? Okay, so what was the reason for choosing Goldman Sachs over any of the other investment banks?
Uh, I just feel like, first of all, everyone knows that Goldman Sachs is a quite prestigious investment banking company. But I feel like it wasn't just because of the prestigiousness, basically. It was more about their core values, their work environment, and how they operate. Because I've been to some Insight Days and I've met employers not employers, workers from Goldman Sachs. Like recently, I attended a Tech event, Black Tech Fest, sorry. And I went to the what's called Goldman Sachs booth, and I talked to one of their not employees, one of their workers that were there. And the information and the information and basically the feedback that they gave me from the company was really good. They said that the work productivity there was amazing, how they take care of their workers also, but also just about the work environment and what the core values that the Goldman Sachs people strive for. I think he told me they strive for client service, excellence, partnership, and integrity. And the way that he spoke about the company just really inspired me and thought, oh, I really want to work for that company too. How do I get to work in that company just like he did? Because he spoke about the company with such enthusiasm and such passion. So that's why I'm applying today.
Okay, so this one, Ezra seemed a bit unsure of his answer. This is a question where you want on lock. Okay, whatever company you're going to applying to, Goldman Sachs, Amazon, IBM, EY, Deloitte, JLR, make sure you have ready for that interview, video interview, whatever it is. Why are you applying for this company? Why would you like to work for this company? Because they want to know that you're motivated for this company. They don't want someone who's just sort of applying to any degree apprenticeship out there and is just trying to get a 30K job, right? You need to explain your motivation for that company. So Ezra covered 2 points there essentially. Number one, just overall about Goldman Sachs being a prestigious company, and number two, about values. Okay, so the first thing I'd say is this question I personally would probably cover about 4 points. So Ezra covered two, I would cover four, and this is how by covering 4 points you're going to be able to give a much more comprehensive answer than everyone else who's coming and applying. So the 4 points I would sort of cover would be the first one, same as Ezra here, an overall one about them. Okay, and like they're a prestigious company or whatever, fine. Number two would be the values, exactly as Ezra's done here. Then number three would be some sort of recent projects or innovations they've done, some news. What's going on with the company? What have they done recently? Something to show that I'm sort of invested in their activities and I've been researching what they've been doing recently. That would be number three. Number four would then be sort of a bonus thing, okay? Whether that's sustainability. I know you guys, well, you wouldn't say you guys, but I know your company has a commitment to sustainability and doing XYZ by 2039. This really interests me because I'm personally passionate about sustainability and I want to start a career in a way that sort of protects the planet. So that's another reason that sort of motivated me to go and join such a responsible organisation as your own. That sort of thing, a bonus one. Sustainability, diversity. Those two are sort of just bonus ones that are good tick boxes that you can sort of say at the end. I wouldn't recommend like starting it as the very first reason because I think you want to get to the meat of it first. So start off with their values, their projects, like overall them as a company, and then you can just use sustainability or diversity or whatever as sort of a bonus one down there. So that's why I'd say first of all, Ezra mentioned 2, I'd probably go with 4 personally. At least 3 maybe. I would personally go with 4. That's what worked for me. Okay. Now in terms of those 4, I'd probably go into a bit more detail. So that first point Ezra mentioned, that I know you're a prestigious company, he sort of just left it at that. He just said, I know you're a prestigious company, and that's it. This is an easy way to put in research, okay? Because there's going to be one person who does this interview and says, I know you're a prestigious company, and then just moves on. There's going to be someone else who says, I know you're a prestigious company, and I know through my research that you are like the biggest investment bank in the UK, or you are the second biggest investment bank, or you achieved platinum award in this, or you achieved 99x profit, or what. I'm making up facts on the spot, but that's an easy way where whenever you say a claim, oh you're a prestigious company, you can say, oh, this is your goal, this is your vision, this is a fact. You can show that research. So what you want to come to is what we do. I'm just literally looking at their website now, so I'd strongly recommend coming to their website, and any website you're applying to, go and have a look at their website and go and see different sort of facts you can look at. So for example, I know Goldman Sachs is a really prestigious company. In particular, I read about how your mergers and acquisitions team is ranked #1 in the world for the most distinguished business leaders or something. And then there you go. It's as simple as that. You've now got a fact. So rather than just saying you're a prestigious company, it's like you got a prestigious fact. You're a prestigious company, and I know this because I did a bit of research. You've shown that you've done that research. You now show you're a dedicated person. Now with the values one, Ezra sort of talked about this story of how he was at an event and there was an employee, and he sort of said, and the employee was talking to him about working at Goldman Sachs, and the actual words Ezra used was, I think the values are client service and partnership, right? You don't want to be going with that level of uncertainty. Like I could sort of tell Ezra probably needs to do a bit more preparation on this question in particular. You don't want to be going in with that level of uncertainty. Like, I think your values are partnership and client service. No. You want to go with absolute certainty. So on most companies' websites, they're going to have some sort of values. Okay. So when you're doing that section there about values, you'd be like, another reason why I want to work for Goldman Sachs is because when I was doing research about your company, I learned about your different values, and this was something that really resonated with me. So in particular, I learned about your value of excellence. Now, this is really important to me because whenever I do work, I like to do it to my highest ability possible. So I can give you an example of my coursework for my EPQ. I was working on this and I was approaching the deadline, and I'd actually sort of finished the essay. So I was considering just leaving it sort of as it is. But then when I went back to the mark scheme, right, I noticed that there were specific sections that you needed to achieve a top mark. And although I only had a little bit of time left and I had lots of other commitments, I really made sure to come back to this EPQ and make sure that I made those final changes in order to meet the highest marks for the mark scheme. And overall, when I actually got this graded, it actually meant I did get that high mark because I'd gone to the highest standards. And this is just something I like to do with all my work. Rather than leaving it as sort of mediocre or good enough, I like to do it to the highest standards. And I really respect how your company is the same. And I think that would allow me to push myself to my limits if I was at your company. Again, I've made that up on the spot, right? So it's obviously that could have had some polishing, right? But that's the sort of thing you can say. Be more convinced. Be more convinced. Okay, that the answer didn't seem convinced. Okay, you guys are kind of prestigious. I've also heard like you have decent values. No. I know that this company is very prestigious. It has this goal. It has achieved these achievements, which is why I want to work there. I also know that your values are this, 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 and this. This really interests me because I want to work for a company that sort of aligns with me personally. I love collaboration. I think working within a team is the way we can get the best results. So the opportunities to work within a company that values partnership, that prioritizes collaboration, is a great opportunity for me. Be more concrete with it. Then you can go into like their recent things they've done, and this is where just a tip for you. If you go on any sort of website for any of these companies, look for a tab which says like news or innovation or press releases or press articles or projects, anything like that. Just anything where there's sort of news about what you can learn. So if I do press room, where does that take me? Yeah, press room. So there's lots of different sort of press releases here which you can look at. A lot of these seem very like Q3 report, like that's not necessarily as important. But it's like learning about different investments, or like you guys release this new technology. Okay, if I come to And by the way, guys, this is anything you can do. I haven't even been on this website and like prepped it before this. I'm literally looking at stuff live. This is exactly what I do. Like literally, as you're preparing for this interview, go on your thing. Okay, I'm applying to investment banking. Okay, wait, platform solutions. Let's say we are applying for investment banking. Okay, cool. Let's learn a bit about investment banking. Cool. Let's come here. And then you can learn about all this stuff, right? And if you want specific insights, what does insights do? Honestly, it's just like have a look. Like I could tell you, oh yeah, go and do this specific article, but it's like I don't know what specific article you use. You just come here, have a look at some of the articles. Oh, I read about this gold thing. Oh, I read about this thing here. I read about this thing here. I read about this thing here. Right? Just use all these different sort of stuff down here to go and get that research. You can say, oh, I know that you guys recently did this project. I know that you recently have done this innovation, whatever it is. Just go and do that research. You have a really specific answer there. Okay? Sustainability. And then the fourth one was sustainability. So say something like, oh, I learned how you have sustainable, like you're trying to do sustainable finance. I really respect this goal. This is something I want to do. This, da da da. Just go click on it and learn about stuff. Okay, so this answer is like, that's what's worked for me. Four different sort of points, and making sure that as I'm going through these four different points, I've got the research solidified and I'm very sure on what I'm doing. Okay. And now we are 3 minutes into a 30-minute interview after that. So this might be a long video. I might split it up. I might leave it in one. I don't know. But I'm going to be trying to give you as much value as possible. So that was the first 3 minutes out of a 32-minute mock interview that I did with Ezra to help him with his degree apprenticeship applications. And I ended up basically filming an analysis video breaking down every single one of his answers. What you've just seen there is basically the first 21 minutes or so, and that whole video was like an hour and 48 minutes long. So just thought I'd upload the first bit of this, and hopefully you guys found value with that. If you did like videos like this, if this kind of thing is helpful, where I record sort of mock interviews, analyze answers, break down answers, so you can sort of see what's good, what's bad. If you like this style of video, then just leave a comment below saying, yeah, Owen, I like this was good, and then I'll see if I can do more of these. If you didn't like it, then sure, comment down below, no, Owen, this is a complete waste of time, didn't learn anything. Fair enough. So just comment down below if you do like this style of video. If you want to jump on a mock interview with me and I can coach you with interviews and that sort of thing to help you get better in the application process, I do have a coaching program. As of recording this interview right now, the spaces are full up at the moment. But if you want to register interest, so like you're one of the first people to find out when new spaces open so you can come in and join, then just go click the first link in the description and you should be able to register your interest there. And then, as I said, when new spaces open, you'll be able to come in and see if it's a good program for you. Okay, so I hope you found this video useful and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.